Hello and welcome back to Mate's Tottenham Blog and to today's Tottenham transfer roundup, where we have quite a bit to get through. Some news regarding Barcelona, which I'm sure you've all seen, which could, in a roundabout way, have an impact on Spurs. And we're going to dive into exactly what it could mean with the future of Harry Kane. We're also going to talk about Cristian Romero, who is edging ever closer to completing that move to Tottenham, and as well Tanguy Ndombele, who at the moment is understood to be considering his future at Tottenham Hotspur and is disappointed about the potential sale of Musa Sissoko and Serge Aurier, who he does deem as two close friends. But before we do get into that, as Eamon says in the live chat, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well if you are new, and let me know your thoughts and questions in the live chat. We'll get to as many of those as we possibly can. But we're going to start with the good news, the news of a deal that is very, very close to completion and one that we do expect to get over the line in the next 24 to 48 hours, and that is with regards to Tottenham signing of Cristian Romero. And according to a number of sources, Romero has already arrived in London after completing his medical in Italy, ahead of signing a 5-year deal with Tottenham to secure, as it says below me, a €55 million transfer in what is a massive deal for Spurs and a very important deal, I think, which has to be said given the defensive showing we put on display at Stamford Bridge last night in that 2-2 draw. Alistair Gold has said the Cristian Romero announcement could come before the weekend, and Dan Kilpatrick has said Romero could very well be unveiled to the Tottenham fans ahead of Sunday's friendly against Arsenal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And this is one that, again, we just need to get done. I'd be very surprised if he's fit for the first game of the season against Manchester City, if he's been in the team long enough to actually secure that transfer, because he only returned to pre-season training with Atalanta on Sunday following his break after winning the Copa America with Argentina. So he's back there. Not even what day is it today? Today's Thursday. Lose track of the days. It was only 5 days ago or 4 days ago he actually returned to pre-season training, which is around the same time as Harry Kane was supposed to be back. And we were saying all along that he wouldn't be available for that game against Manchester City. So I'll be quite surprised if he does start or even play at all within that game against Manchester City. We do have some direct quotes from Romero, who was pictured, as Italian players always are, very publicly making these transfers. He left Italy earlier today, and again is believed to have arrived in London already. And he was speaking to Tuttosport, I think it was, and DiMarzio as well. He said Tottenham and Paratici really wanted me. I thank them from the first day. From the first day they were interested in me. I liked the project they have for me, and so I chose Tottenham. Now I have to answer on the pitch, and it's really exciting how convinced he is that Tottenham is the team for him. And this is what we have been hearing for the last week or so. We know he agreed personal terms with Tottenham well in advance of the deal being agreed with Atalanta. So it's so good to hear how keen he is. And again, look, I do question why that is happening, because if he is coming from Atalanta, a Champions League side, and dropping down into the Europa Conference League, there are a few questions that I would like answered. We're not going to get the answers to those, but he is very keen to join Spurs, and he also said he feels the Premier League is the best place for him to better himself and further his career. Brian Ireland, good to see you in the live chat with the Matty Hayes. Brian will definitely be on the show soon, everybody, so do keep an eye out for that show. He also said, showing his class, Cristian Romero, in leaving the Atalanta fans, he said, a message to Atalanta fans, sorry to leave, kind of questioning what the reporter said. He said, I'm sorry too. I just have to say thank you to them. Since I arrived in Bergamo, they have behaved very well with me, and now there is an Atalanta fan in London. So he really enjoyed his time there. He thanked them for everything they did for his career, and thanked the fans, of course, there for their support of him throughout his time at the club. And this is the classy player we're getting in, the 23-year-old centre-back, who was the Serie A Defender of the Year. Well, look, if he is at that age, managing to get that time or get that title and win that award, when you're looking at the quality of centre-half that is in that league, you can look at even Giorgio Chiellini and Leonardo Bonucci, as old as they are, still playing almost at the peak of their game. You have Matthias de Ligt, and of course Milan Skriniar at Inter Milan as well, and Bastoni as well, who had a fantastic season. But Romero did get that title again, as I keep on saying, in a league that is renowned for its defending, in a nation that is known for its defensive acumen. He's the one who came out with that title. There's some more big praise from him as well. I know a lot of reports in the last couple of days have been telling us that Lionel Messi wanted Cristian Romero to join him at Barcelona. Ironically, Messi won't be at Barcelona next season. We'll be talking a bit more about that. But Alistair Gold, don't know what that was. Alistair Gold said, Lionel Messi totally believes in the ability of Cristian Romero, and even in recent days was trying to convince FC Barcelona to get him. There were reports that Barcelona had put bids in, mainly from Gianluigi Langari, but as I understand it, those bids never actually came in. And I think that's kind of confirmed by Gold saying Messi was trying to convince them to put a bid in. He wouldn't be convincing them to put a bid in if they'd already put the bid in. So I do think that confirms that there was no official bid from Barcelona. Mundo Deportivo and a number of other sources across Twitter as well are actually saying that Lionel Messi has slowed talks over a new contract because Barcelona failed to sign Cristian Romero. Now we know that has rapidly escalated and has become a crazy story that Lionel Messi is going to be leaving Barcelona this summer. The potential impact that could have on Harry Kane we will discuss in a second. But with regards to Atalanta's replacement for Cristian Romero, Romeo Agresti, the number one Juventus journalist, said that Cristian Romero's replacement, Mary Demiral, has now undergone his medical tests at Atalanta. He's going to be joining them on a season-long loan deal with a €2 million loan fee and a €30 million buy option for them to make that deal permanent next season. That is the replacement that they wanted. That's the replacement that they're getting. And that's the replacement that is going to allow Atalanta to sell Cristian Romero to Tottenham. This deal, I see Jamie asking when it'll be announced. I think it'll be announced tomorrow, personally. I was hoping we get something today, but it's not particularly surprising that we haven't, and it's just too late in the evening, I think, now for this deal to be announced. Romero may not be the only centre back coming into Spurs this summer, and this is news that we were hoping to get, and I feel we will see a lot of developments in the next couple of days on potential centre back partners for Cristian Romero. Now that this deal is over the line, it was such a complicated one to get done, and he was our priority. So I think it makes perfect sense that all of the deals, including Takehiro Tomiyasu, were put on the back burner in order to get that done with Atalanta, because it needed to be done. We needed to get it done a bit sooner than we probably have, but it's done, and that's all that needs to be said. Alistair Gold reported today in his Q&A that there's a feeling at Spurs that Romero will need a leader alongside him in the backline, and other centre-backs will be looked at. So a number of names have been mentioned. I know Nikola Milenkovic is one that is constantly being thrown around, available for just €15 million from Fiorentina as he comes into the last year of his contract. Kurt Zouma, another name that's out there. It seems unlikely that Tottenham will do business with Chelsea, although if Chelsea do want to complete their deal for Jules Koundé, they do need to get Kurt Zouma off their books. He doesn't want Sevilla. He wants to stay in the Premier League. He's already apparently turned down a deal with West Ham, so maybe Chelsea will be forced into doing business with Tottenham to sell Kurt Zouma in order to get that deal for Jules Koundé over the line. But it's not, it's not written in stone. He may not be one of the number one targets for Spurs, but there will be a few more names, I'm sure, cropping up in the coming days. Brad with the £5. Brad, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. Says playing for Spurs in the Premier League is preferable to playing for Atalanta in the Champions League. Also, he must believe we can play in the Champions League soon. And look, that is a good point. The Premier League is seen as the by a lot as the pinnacle of world football, the best league to play in, and that is definitely a pull factor. And he even said that himself. That the Premier League is where he wants to play. It's where he sees his career making a turn for the better. And when you mentioned he must believe we can play in the Champions League soon, when he mentioned the project. He mentioned I think it was specifically the project that Paratici and Tottenham had for him, but also there has to be an overall project there that would tempt him and would convince him to come to Spurs. And look, it's done, and that's the main thing. But Brad, thank you very much for the super chat, and as always, talking sense there with that one. Alistair Gold today also talking about Tomiyasu. He said the club will have to decide whether to follow up on their initial offer for young Bologna defender Takehiro Tomiyasu, who can play at right back or anywhere across the defence if required. And I believe it was Gold only a couple of days ago said that he expected this one to be done after the Olympics. So it's interesting to see if there's a bit of a U-turn maybe there from Alistair Gold, if he thinks maybe Tottenham aren't as close to getting this done as he initially believed. But this is one that I personally expect Tottenham to get done, but Gold saying we'll have to decide whether we want to follow up on that initial offer, so suggesting perhaps that Tottenham actually aren't as close to agreeing a deal as people thought. Telegraph Sport have also said Spurs remain in talks with Bologna over a deal for Takehiro Tomiyasu. They've said that the two clubs have been in contact for the last 2 weeks, with Tomiyasu of course playing in the Olympics for Japan. They say the clubs are still in contact, but a very different report coming from Corriere dello Sport, as is mentioned there in the live chat by Not So Spursy. Corriere dello Sport say that Tottenham have now backed out from a deal to sign Takehiro Tomiyasu. Arsenal are now in the picture to sign him. Tomiyasu's representatives are working day after day to secure a Premier League transfer. And the mention of Arsenal isn't new. When we were first in talks and we were first making bids for him, I think it was Gianluca Di Marzio was the first to report that Arsenal were interested in him. There was a bit of a difference in that one from Fabrizio Romano, who said that Arsenal were not in the mix and were not looking for him, but definitely one to keep an eye on there. Whether Arsenal can creep into the picture and whether Tottenham are actually going to try and get this deal for Tomiyasu done. I personally think they have to, but look, Spurs have made bad decisions in the past, and I'm sure they'll make some in the future as well. On Tanguy Ndombele, a bit of a surprise today, one that hasn't really gotten as much attention as I would have expected. Alistair Gold saying that Ndombele is understood to be considering his future at Tottenham once again this summer. He is disappointed about the likely departures of his close friends Serge Aurier and Moussa Sissoko. Again, I wasn't really expecting that. I struggle to see something materialising for him this summer because we are trying to rebuild the squad, and we're not going to let go of a player like him who has the potential to be a very big part of our team going forward. And if he's not outright demanding a move, or if there's not big bids coming in for him, I'd be surprised if Spurs were keen, I suppose, to get him off the books. There were talks that he'd been offered in a swap deal for Houssem Aouar of Lyon, but those were pretty quickly shut down, and I don't think there will be anything more to that story. Gold, on the point of Aurier and Sissoko as well, said that efforts are being made to sell Serge Aurier and Moussa Sissoko, while Sevilla have an interest in taking Davinson Sanchez to Spain if Jules Koundé moves on. And that is a very, very big point in which centre-back Tottenham managed to get in to play alongside Romero. If Sanchez goes, there'll be a lot more money, and there'll be a lot more money on the wage books in order to convince a bigger centre-back to come into Tottenham. Realistically, it's not going to be Jules Koundé. We won't get to that level. I saw someone mention Koulibaly there as well. While that would be an absolute dream, it's just not it's not realistic, and I don't think it's one that Tottenham would even bother attempting to get over the line because of the complexities and stuff in that. But Sanchez moving could be big for Spurs. He returned to pre-season training, I think, on Monday. Of course, didn't take part in that friendly against Chelsea last night, but there is a chance for him to leave. And I understand a lot of people questioning why someone would want Davinson Sanchez, but I feel like he's just the type of player that would fit better in different leagues like La Liga or like Serie A, which really does explain Jules Koundé's interest in, or Sevilla's interest rather, in Davinson Sanchez. And there could be a bit of a domino effect going on here. Koundé wants to go to Chelsea, but Chelsea need to sell Zuma. Sevilla then wants Sanchez as a replacement, and Tottenham are apparently interested in Zuma. So there could be a little triangle developing there, depending on who Tottenham identify as their main targets for the centre-back position, and whether or not Chelsea will actually go into negotiations with Tottenham for the player. But one to keep an eye on there. Sanchez, more than likely, I would say, going to leave Spurs this summer, and it's very important that we get in a more than competent centre-back to replace him and to play alongside Cristian Romero, what we do now believe will be a fourth back this season. One player that is unlikely to be partnering Cristian Romero at the back is Japhet Tanganga. He was subject to a loan bid from Galatasaray, which was reluctantly accepted by Tottenham. However, Alistair Gold is now saying that Tanganga is believed to have turned down the chance to head to Galatasaray on loan for the season. But as the month progresses, he will assess his options, and it does look as though the preference of Tottenham, and indeed of the player, is to get a move to another English team, which at the moment there's no real no official interest. There's been no official bid. Galatasaray are the ones who are trying to get this over the line, but if an English bid doesn't come in, I would expect Tanganga to bite the bullet and make that move to Turkey, because he needs game time, and he's not going to find his way into this Tottenham team by sitting on the sideline and trying to get into the team based on training or things like that. He needs first team experience. He needs to go and play football, and that could very well be at Galatasaray this season. Before we touch on some other stories there, with regards to Mikkel Damsgaard, Noni Madueke, Dennis Serkin, and Jubril Akadina, the Messi news. As I'm sure everybody has seen by now, and so many people in the live chat saying Messi to Tottenham needs to happen. That's, of course, out of the question. Just a bit of breaking news there. Manchester City have officially confirmed the signing of Jack Grealish, not Harry Kane. I apologise if I scared you. Man City have confirmed the signing of Jack Grealish on a 6-year deal. Massive, massive deal. An English transfer record, of course. 6 years, £100 million. Jack Grealish is a Manchester City player. Crazy stuff there. But, of course, that's the craziest story of the day. Lionel Messi is leaving Barcelona. Baffling story. One that came out of absolutely nowhere. Up until yesterday, it was simply Messi is about to sign the contract. We're waiting official announcement. Romano even said that yesterday on a stream. But today, for whatever reason, that is not going to happen. And Barcelona have confirmed Lionel Messi will be leaving the club this summer. They have blamed financial or economical and structural obstacles with regards to the La Liga and trying to get that contract signed. And what that essentially is about is they, of course, Lionel Messi had to take a 50% wage cut in order to re-sign for Barcelona because of their financial situation. It looks as though that 50% wage cut simply wasn't enough, and they tried to register his contract with La Liga. They wouldn't allow it because of the finances in that. So Joan Laporta went to Messi and asked him to reduce his wage even more, and he said, "No, I'm out." Other reports from Mundo Deportivo and a few others saying that he stalled the contract talks because they failed to get Cristian Romero in. I wouldn't believe that. I mean, it's one that you want to believe, and it's an absolute pleasure if Tottenham have managed to convince a player so good to the club that he's made Messi leave Barcelona. It's extremely far-fetched, and I don't believe it for a second, but it's a nice one to kind of think about. Now, the question is going to be asked, where is Lionel Messi going to end up this summer? Last summer, Manchester City wanted him. And last summer, reports suggested that Manchester City ended their interest in Harry Kane because they felt they could get Lionel Messi to the club. If they feel the same this summer, if that is something they're willing to pursue, that Kane deal is off. Because as much as we can say they can't afford Grealish and Kane, they may be able to find a way around that. They may be able to get that done. It's almost impossible that they afford Jack Grealish, Lionel Messi and Harry Kane. That just won't happen. There's not enough room in their wage bill. There's not enough money in the world. And yes, Lionel Messi is a free agent, but there's going to be a massive signing on fee. There's going to be a massive bonus for his agent. As anyone who signs Lionel Messi, it's not going to be a free deal. It could be 50, 60, 70, 80 million euros. Nobody knows. But Lionel Messi, if he does end up at Manchester City, Kane will not be joining him there. However, having said that, I don't think he'll end up at Man City. I think he is off to PSG. He was pictured fairly recently with a number of PSG players. And with the future of Kylian Mbappe in doubt, he could potentially be leaving Paris for free next summer. They may want to just get him off their books this summer to guarantee they get a fee in, and they can get a damn good replacement there in Lionel Messi as well. But this is a story, of course, that has only developed in the last hour or so. So all the information is still fresh. It's still raw. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Like I said, it came out of absolutely nowhere. So one to keep an eye on. If Man City push for Lionel Messi, I think we can say Harry Kane will be staying at Tottenham. But if City are looking at longevity, I think the Harry Kane deal is one that they will be better off pursuing. But look, let's wait and see how that one plays out. A few other stories. We heard of Tottenham's interest in Mikkel Damsgaard and Noni Madueke a couple of days ago, and Alistair Gold has now said that Tottenham are keeping an eye on the two players. However, they're not priorities right now. It simply looks as though Tottenham are trying to sort out that defence before they move on to making any other attacking signings, with Brian Hill being the second player we brought in this summer. La Repubblica are going a step further and saying that Tottenham have actually made a bid already worth over 20 million euro for Sampdoria winger Mikkel Damsgaard, and it's nowhere near what they want. The same report suggests that Sampdoria are looking for as much as 40 million euro, and there's a bit of a potentially bizarre story developing here, because the Sampdoria chairman or president, whatever he was yesterday, offered the player to Roma and cited the fact that he is a Roma fan and wants the player to play with Roma. So he said, I don't know if it was via a medium or publicly himself, but he said, Roma, come and make a bid, come and talk to us, and I guarantee we will agree a fee, because I'm a Roma fan and I want him to play for you. It's a really weird potential development there. Roma's interest in that player at the moment is unknown, whether that's something that they do want to pursue, but this could end up being a battle between Tottenham and Jose Mourinho in trying to tempt this player to leave Sampdoria this summer. Hey, with the $5 super chat, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. It says, I see La Liga struggling in the Champions League for a long time. Losing the league's biggest star would create even a bigger gap in TV revenue between the Premier League and La Liga, and that is absolutely true. And they've struggled already in the last couple of years in European competition, with Real Madrid being knocked out by some teams that you wouldn't expect them to be. In Ajax a couple of years ago, the year we knocked them out, and Barcelona quite struggling as well. But it's only going to get worse, as you say, and there's a lot of TV deals being done at the moment. I know the Serie A or the Bundesliga is coming to English TV and Sky Sports. I think it's the Bundesliga, and the Serie A potentially going to BT. I haven't seen much talk about La Liga and where that may be going. So a very good point there from Hey that the revenue could plummet for these teams. But again, we'll have to wait and see how that one pans out. Quickly, two other stories. An official one is Jubril Akadina has today left Tottenham Hotspur officially and joined Cambridge on a permanent deal, where he spent last season on loan. Football Insider as well is saying that Sunderland are in advanced talks to sign Spurs left back Dennis Serkin on a permanent basis. And I think I saw David, the Irish Hotspur, in the chat there a second ago. I think I know how he'll feel about the Dennis Serkin deal. Crispin, please do not spam in the chat. You will be banned. But yeah, a strange one there. Football Insider, not a source that I'd often talk about, or one that I'd really pay any attention to at all. But when it comes to EFL deals, they are on the money. They absolutely are. A couple of days ago, I saw them mention former Tottenham Academy player Conor Ogilvie will be leaving Gillingham and moving on to Portsmouth. That's been confirmed. That's a done deal. And they're always on the ball with young Leeds players as well, which is a weird kind of precise one to get. But Yeah, I would expect Dennis Irkin to complete that move to Sunderland if it is coming from Football Insider, who again are a fantastic EFL source. But that is pretty much the summary of what's going on today. You may have noticed I didn't mention Harry Kane because I couldn't be bothered saying what's been said over the last couple of days. He's a disgrace for what he's doing. He's betraying the club. He's betraying the fans. But ultimately, I want him to stay because he's the best striker in the league, and it's as simple as that. Steve put in a question. I said, "Do you want Kane to stay at Spurs, given how he's behaved over the past few days?" That is the short answer, Steve. To be honest, he's just the best player. He's the best striker in the league. You could argue he's the best player in the league, and I didn't expect him to do what he's done, and I expected him to be more professional than he has been. But I feel once he gets in the pitch, he will be that professional player because he wants Alan Shearer's record. Jamie, please stop spamming in the chat. If you spam in the chat, you will be banned. Steve, if you could just time him out, that'd be great, please. Jamie, you're always spamming in the chat, and I've said it to you a few times, so please, if you can, just avoid spamming. I forget now. Oh yeah, Kane, he wants that record from Alan Shearer. So why would he waste a year? Why would he waste a full season in what could be a very important season? Because it's 260 goals. It's not easy to match. You need every season that you have to be able to beat that. So if Kane is at Spurs this season, I fully expect him to go on and win the Golden Boot again. I do think he will be at Spurs next season. So if I had to predict right now, I think Kane wins the Golden Boot as a Spurs player next season, ultimately. But a lot of this has to be played out just yet, and there's nothing to say that Manchester City won't come in with a £160 million bid. I just don't think they will, to be honest. Reports here from, what's the source here? Fernando Campos saying that Messi is reportedly already negotiating directly with PSG. Both parties are trying to find a financial solution. He could soon travel to Paris to finalise things, and Neymar has been crucial in the approach. So maybe Messi will be off to PSG, which of course means nothing in Manchester City's pursuit of Harry Kane. Farhan says, Matt, if we lost Kane and had to replace him from one player, who would be your ideal choice? There's none. There's none, because there's no one player that replaces Harry Kane, especially in this Tottenham team. I've said it many times. If we sell Harry Kane, in order to even try and replace him, we need 2 strikers and 1 playmaker. And that is the only way that we can even attempt to replace what he does for this team. Whether or not that'll happen, who knows? Dusan Vlahovic is not a bad choice. Of course, Danny Ings now off the market, having signed for Aston Villa in a shock move yesterday. But I'm sure Paratici has a number of players that he's keeping an eye on that we may not have ever heard of. Players that we may have heard of but not quite identified as good players for Tottenham. But if he does go, Paratici will definitely have an option there for that. Steve, I'll probably have to do that in future, to be honest. But look, that is the short version of the summary from today, because we could honestly sit here for hours talking about all these developments that we have gotten. But the most important news, and certainly the best news today, we have another super chat here from Hey. Thank you so much for that. You're really kind with these. Saying, I'm sure you're aware of it, but what's your opinion on Sonny liking an Insta post about Kane not winning trophies in our club? I missed your opinion. And yeah, for anyone who didn't see that, Heung-min Son's official account liked a post on Instagram. It was a picture of Harry Kane walking past the Champions League trophy 2 years ago, said 0 trophies, and there's a picture of Bill Nicholson opening the gates of White Hart Lane and said 26 trophies. And Son liked that. I think it's a good insight into the feeling within the dressing room about this, the current ongoings with Harry Kane, especially since it's coming from Heung-min Son. Now, Son has since removed his like from that post, and also the post was taken down, and the account put up on their Instagram story that they got a DM from Son's account asking for the post to be removed, and out of respect they did. So I think that's another interesting development there, but I'm glad Son liked that, because Kane is betraying his teammates and the fans. And yes, Kane has grievances with Daniel Levy and with the hierarchy of the club, but that's not the player's fault. Well, it is some of their fault. It's not Son's fault. It's not the fans' fault. And he needs to act in a more professional manner and respect the people that have supported him throughout his development in his career so far. But look, we said that many times before, and I'm sure we'd say it many times again, but I'm glad Son like that post is definitely something I'd say. Trevor, my absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for tuning in. But look, we will leave it there. It's going to be an interesting couple of days. I think we will get that Romero deal over the line, potentially announced tomorrow. As I said, I think another centre-back will come in, and then we'll move on to attacking midfielders with Damsgaard and Madueke, targets of the club at the moment. Do make sure to let me know your thoughts in the live chat and in the comment section below if you are watching on the stream replay. Make sure to hit that like button as well. We'll see how many we're on at the moment. We're on 127 likes with nearly 700 people watching. So let's get that number up to 200 as quickly as we possibly can. Do make sure to hit that subscribe button as well if you want more of these transfer updates all throughout the rest of the window, and Tottenham watch-alongs, the best on YouTube for every game coming up with Tottenham this season. A few things to be finalised on that. We may have some exciting news with it soon. But please hit that subscribe button. And if you have enjoyed this stream, if you enjoy my content, there is a link at the top of the description down below where you can vote for me as Best Young Content Creator of 2021 in the Football Creator Awards, and I would massively appreciate that. Do vote for David Harris as the Best New Creator, and We Are Tottenham TV as the Best Club Creator as well. We would all greatly appreciate it. It would be a fantastic support for us. But for now, thank you very much, Stuart. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thanks for watching.